left on this one. Rolled right by. They're going to go one up for the match if they sink this. And that putt safely in its home. And lost that first hole, so you're one down moving forward. Give this a rip. That ball's going for days. It's never going to come down. All right, third shot for him. Second shot here on the 11th. Ooh, looking good, looking good. And there we go. Nice little approach shot. And let's see what happens. This is his fourth.
You don't.
As he lines this up, this will be for bogey.
They haven't won this thing since 1967. I believe in these Hoosiers. I'm excited.
Okay, you need this to win the hole.
We waited till today. No, we waited a long time. My whole life, brother. He graduated. Up in Massachusetts, you know what Massachusetts is? Pro sports town. They all love. Don't you spell it?
This one's tracking. And after that hole, we're all square.
H-O-O-S-T-T-T-S. Is that how you enter Massa? Isn't that what you guys call them there? Because the Hoosiers? You nailed it. Not to mention, I do believe actually Sid was conceived.
And teeing it up now on the 12th.
So throw that into the loop as well. And Sig's name. I mean, as soon as Signetti became a big-time coach, I believe Massachusetts thought like, oh, we'll be JMU fans. And then as soon as he went to IU, it was, oh, thank goodness we can go back to school we've always rooted for, the Hoosiers. I'm very excited for this. I think it is going to be not just the conference championship game of the weekend, but looking back over the past 5-10 years, I think
Silky
it's the
swing.
Big Ten championship they've had in a long, long time. And that's coming off the Penn State Oregon, which is a great game. But I can't wait for this one. I think it's going to be a great day of ball.
Good to go on this one.
Texas
Let's see
Tech,
how he does.
BYU to kick it off at noon. I think it's going to be another banger as well. Yeah, I'm very pumped for the college slate. I'm very pumped for the NFL slate. It's going to be a spectacular weekend. Let's go to one half of the Hammer Cowboys, AP10. 78% of the money, 76% of the bet, 80% of the money on loss last night. Is that what I was watching while saying to myself, of course. That's all I kept saying throughout the entire game about the Lions being the favorites, even though they didn't look the best the week before. Hitting the Lions, moving to 3.5 from 3 when all the money was going the other way.
Second shot on the 12th.
Is that what we just need to understand, Tony, going forward?
Yeah, that was when we were doing the show. It was 78-77% of the money was on the Cowboys. Or sorry, I should say 77-78% of the bets were on the Cowboys. 80% of the money was on the Cowboys. And then if it was 72% of bets on the Cowboys, 65% of the money on the Cowboys. So some money came in on the Lions late. We talked about yesterday how
Here we
game
go. This
after
putt
a loss
for the bird.
eclipsed that total last night. They've just been an absolute wagon after a loss and at home. That's just what Dan Campbell football is.
Heading
They
towards
do
the
not
hole.
lose 2 in a row. They always bounce back. That was a great win for the Lions last night.
And they've got this to go to 1
The
up.
Lions had 29 plays for 216 yards, averaging 7 yards a clip, 4 for 5 in the red zone. The Cowboys, 40 plays, 142 yards, 42 yards, 42 yards, 42 yards, 42 yards.
And that putt will drop for birdie. And moving along here, next hole coming up.
You kept saying 42 yards over and over and over. I don't know if you can hear it down. Oh, yeah. I guess, Matt, we're going to reconnect with you, buddy. I think it was situation. We missed. That was good stat. It was cool. It was going to have that into the next song. 42 yards. How do you feel about tomorrow? Like, do you think Ohio State cares? Yeah. Really? I think they absolutely care because, I mean, Indiana's number 2 in the country. I think Ohio State does. Yeah. Hey, okay. Now this is, yeah, I agree. They are good. They do have a lot of respect for Indiana because what they have done.
Okay, let's go. Pound this one.
But even just thinking about, like, nobody talks about Ohio State all year, like, that's something, too, is where it's like, hey.
Oh, that was a fine swing. Fine swing.
Will actually talk about it just because it has been one of those situations like when Georgia went back to back.
Here's our
Hey, we don't
second
talk
shot
about
on the 13th.
they're going to win it in the end. Like, you think Ohio State has that same kind of, I feel that way. I think they feel like, hey, now our season has begun. This is what we came to do. Start out.
Hey,
Let's see what happens. This is his second.
come here. Hey, come here. Come
This
here.
is where I wish
Right here.
that
Hey,
not
right here.
was on campus. Because that would make this game so much more fun if it was also a semifinal round at home or whatever, because then you're looking at this game would be like, all right, home field
Hey,
advantage or whatever.
hey.
One versus two.
Don't change that.
This is what
So I
our
think
first shot's looking like.
so much money for the semifinal game. It might. Yeah, it might, but I think like because there's so much money, corporate money for the semifinal game. Yeah, too. And like I think like we've asked Saban before, do you wish the next round, the bye round, was also home field advantage too? And he said yes, that would make sense. Like the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, all those bowls, like so much money in those bowls that I don't know if that's gonna happen, but it would be cool for sure.
Well, I know they'll never do it because we're already in the time where, like, hey, we need to have this playoff.
Good shot. Well, let's see how he does here from the green side
It
bunker.
would make the conference championship still matter if the first ranking show was on Sunday and it was the final one. Because that's like, guess what? Indiana and Ohio State, like, this game does still matter a bunch. And I don't know. I mean, like, Ohio State facility, like, programs like that, it's your most important trophy. Like, they want to add a Big Ten championship. Flip side, like, for Indiana.
He's got 8 feet to go.
Like, this would be, the biggest deal for Indiana athletics since Bobby Knight was there and they won a national championship.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
And to Ty's point, there has been, I've seen reports of like Mexico.
And that one will go. As this putt
Just like
drops,
college basketball.
the hole will be had. And that hole will be
Put
had.
out their rankings 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it started or whatever, and they're kind of pigeonholed, into those initial rankings. Oh, like they can't have just someone at 2 1 week and then drop them all the way to 11 or something like that because they put them like it pigeonholes them into the initial rankings where if they only did the one, it's more free flowing. They have all the information. They can put one after one, and then there's not as much like bitching.
You can't contradict yourself with a team like Notre Dame, where a couple weeks ago it seemed pretty evident, like, hey, if they beat Stanford in their last game, they're going to get in. That's going to be exactly, and then so they don't play, and now like they have to come up with these new formulas. Well, this is that is where I'm projecting something where people are like, these guys are full of shit. They're just making this up as they go. They have no idea how to do this, but obviously, from
All right, let's go.
head-to-head rule. Obviously, they lost one, right? So you're writing these in. But then when I hear people walk around and think about it,
Just strike that one.
so much. You are people talking about the best
his shot number 2 on hole number 14.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then even their loss, like, I get the head-to-head for Miami, but let's look at their other loss. Like, Miami's other loss isn't as good as Notre Dame barely losing to Texas A&M. That's a very, very tough team. Texas A&M basically was a top 3 team the entire year until they lose in a rivalry game at Texas. So it is such a tough situation. When are they going to get rid of the automatic bid? Is that also a conversation? Just because it does feel like the conference championship thing just feels stupid because you know that whoever wins the Big Ten is one of the best teams in the country. Whoever wins the SEC, one of the best teams in the country. And then typically like in Indiana or like a Bama, there will be a situation where whoever they're playing isn't one of the best teams in the country.
But if you listen to what Pete said in the last few months,
He's getting ready to fire away with his second shot.
it doesn't feel like those are going to go away anytime soon. They're talking about those. Yeah, so there was a deadline, I think it was a week or so ago, for ESPN and the college football playoff or whatever to decide if they were going to 16 or not.
What?
And actually kind of got pushed back. Gave it a second to make that.
She's a collar and her leash. I have it.
I always appreciate whenever
Coming in for
people
a
Down here.
this guy that dodged their way through some technology and makes them it sounds like Bruce and Bunko, the entire squad here.
The heck?
Third shot.
And not just connected. We're the greatest of all time. A man who has no history in this building.
Say bye to Uncle.
No
Jim.
fish.
Bye, Uncle.
One is for the par.
Big Ten championship this
Say
year.
bye, Uncle.
Obviously, could have definitely done that in our
Look at you.
would have been spectacular. But I think what people don't understand whenever they come down here is there is an aura around the SEC championship.
bye,
Like
Uncle.
every year it does feel like it is the Super Bowl of the South. And what do you kind of think about whenever you get down here?
Ron.
Just from your own personal experience?
Well, I think having played in this game a few times, it's one of the best competitive venues that I've ever been a part of because the passion that people have in this conference and the support that this game has had. Atlanta is sort of a great place to have it.
All right, well done.
Building is a great place to
Six
play
this
it.
next putt. He's going to get 2 up on
There's
you.
usually
Look out.
two really good high-ranked teams playing in the game, so there's a lot of
Should be out here.
I don't want to minimize the Big Ten championship because obviously I coached in that league and that was really significant if you can win the Big Ten. And to have the number 1 and number 2 teams playing for the Big Ten championship, I think that's the only time 2 undefeated teams, 1 and 2, have ever played in that game. That's pretty significant too. So,
That's very
you
cool.
know,
I think the championship week is going to live up to the hype.
no doubt.
Tough decisions are going to go every week. You know, and the fact that we're a part of a show
So
that
very
people want
sister.
us to be at their game is an honor. That is
I should
you
walk
don't just fall to that point, obviously, what they've done for all these years. Maybe they expect them to every time they go anywhere. But obviously,
Okay, he's got 2 feet to go here.
really was, because the thing is tough city down. But this place does shut down for the SEC. It's not like obviously you know Alabama very well.
Okay, that putt's done.
Hi, buddy.
You're around there on the board.
Okay, that
Come here.
hole's going to be half.
Look, look, look. Interesting.
Teams that could certainly go on a run during the playoffs. This Georgia team, though, since losing, to Alabama, have become one of the dominant teams in all of football. Obviously, Pete's talking about Indiana and Ohio State. He's got Pete Bravado, the athletic director of Notre Dame. And he said, outside of them, you know, who's really been as high as Notre Dame has? I guess Georgia. This is the team.
You only got more there? You have more there?
And how they play at this exact time.
Behind
I
you?
think Georgia's playing really, really well. I think, since the Bama game,
Hey.
they significantly
Right there, in front of you.
on both sides of the ball, but especially
Over there.
on defense. And in the last 3 games, something that was a little bit of an Achilles heel for them is getting off the field on third down.
Let
They've been
this
doing
one
that.
go.
And to me, in the first game, Alabama went 9 for 9 in the first half and got ahead by 15 points by going to the So, I think that's going to be,
Nicely done.
this
Getting
time
into
of
an
year,
elevated
lots
green,
of
we
teams
might
to
need
beat
more
up. Who
club.
can manage and handle from a depth standpoint as well as a mental toughness standpoint, overcoming adversity at this time of the year, playing in a championship game. This is always a great game, and I'm sure it'll be.
You ready, Hound Dog?
Ty Simpson has done a great job, all year long. And,
Oh, you're partner to Bug Eye.
one of the things that
What? Hey, partner, goodbye.
is important is, Ty has been leaving his own position to change plays. platform.
See you, man.
Other teams
Yeah.
are changing the defense.
Yep,
So
that's
that
going to do just nicely.
doesn't create any advantage for
Mm.
you
Looks
by
like he's
simply
around
playing offense.
130 yards
So
out from here.
hopefully he'll do a
Yeah,
little better
close.
job of that this week, and that won't be a problem for Alabama's offense.
Sounds like that was the coaching point that you had. Certainly
yeah,
without
yeah.
Simpson. I don't know if you let it be heard in the building or if
Yeah.
right now you're kind of letting it fly.
Let's do it.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, thanks.
Place where you release that kind of information.
That's what, Di, anything before the SEC championship. Last question for me is just about those championship games as a whole. I mean, we were just in the day-to-day production meeting. Obviously, it came up last week. It came up in the offseason. It came up.
Oh, good. I can take a shower.
The approach has
He's
yet
there.
to be flat.
It's fine.
That conversation never happened for the actual teams that are involved.
Here's paper towels for upstairs.
Well, I think
Well, let's see if he's been
emphasis
practicing
on
this
Okay.
Zoom game here.
Of course,
Let's see.
what's going for packages, all right?
Yeah, well. Peace out. Those guys.
And I think these championship games, because of the, in a way, unfair ramifications that they can have, you got some teams sitting at home not playing in a
We got
game
this putt
that
to
may
win the hole.
benefit from a team losing that is playing in a game, which doesn't seem quite exactly right, but it could happen, will happen probably, because we'll probably reshuffle the deck a little bit after these championship games. But I do think
Putt
that
appears to be on the line.
it has lost
And
its
we fall
luster.
square
But
after that
let me
hole.
just say this about this game: winning the SEC is a really significant accomplishment. It always was to me. It always was to our team. And
Let's see it stick
I
it
don't
nice
think
and
that
close
part
here.
of it
Let's see
for
what he
these
can
two
do.
teams has changed at all.
Yeah, and okay. I mean, that's
Absolutely.
Because hometown Willie wants to be able to say that he won the SEC championship.
That's right.
I mean, most people all around Georgia say that that's not the SEC, so I want to hear. That's a big deal.
No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to walk around the SEC in full strut and say you won the SEC.
You guys do that ever? Do you ever go full strut, kick off on them a little bit, or is that just your turn to do it?
You know that's not me.
AJ, any questions for
Nice,
Coach
pure
Saban?
swing.
Yeah,
Great
just
stuff.
Coach, with the pivot quickly. I know Matt Campbell and Pete Dan was saying they're in, third spot. He most likely could be the next
Nice work. That was some good golf.
Listen to this, though. Hold
And
on,
let's
AJ, hold on,
see
AJ.
how
I'd like
this
to tell,
tee shot fares
Coach
for
Saban,
him.
this is what was reported. They're working towards the deal. There's multiple steps that haven't been finalized yet, like the terms or the compensation or anything like that. Never read anything like this before, but basically just, he's going to be the head coach. Sorry, AJ, just so you know where we're at right now. They don't know the money. They have no idea the
Here's
terms,
their
but they both have
8
kind of
iron.
said to each other, we're going to do this. Go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, Coach, I guess, I'm glad to give Coach the context. Like, what would you say as a coach going from a team like Iowa State, obviously, they want to go to 8, 9, 10 years in the future, and Penn State, like, okay, how quick is he going to win a national championship? How quick is he going to get there? Because it's going to be,
And this is his attempt at birdie.
when you finally take that step to where you're at a place like that, hey, we have to.
Well, but I think that, creating that expectation is actually, not favorable to being able to do it, because every time you have a misstep, everybody gets negative on where the program is and what the program
Okay,
can
this
accomplish.
putt to
And
go
I think
one
the
up
most
on your friend.
important thing is to have your administration, your fan base, and everybody positive what you're trying to accomplish and goal. Right, so these
That one
places
drops,
that
and
have
that's your second birdie in a row, the
I
making
do
of
get
a
an
streak, perhaps.
expectations that
And
we're
you're
going to win
one
the
up for the
national
match
championship. Only
after
one
that
team
one.
wins the national championship, and there's a lot of competition out there. There's only 12 teams that get in the playoffs, and really only 10 of them, because 2 of them may not even be ranked high enough to deserve to get in, but in the system they get in.
Okay.
So anyway,
You've stated
so
this
there's the top 10 teams that get in the playoffs. And then you got to
Right,
win in the
best of
playoffs
luck here
against really
on
good
number
teams,
17.
and you got to stay healthy, and you got to have a quarterback, and you can't lose the wrong guys at the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, there's all kinds of factors that go into whether you can finish the season the way you want.
This one's
So
looking
to
bunker
make
bound.
that sort of the goal, which is an outcome. We got to win the championship, or we're going to get rid of the coach. To me, is holding on.
And he's
They'll
just about
have
ready
a
to
hard
tee
time
off.
doing it if
Let's
that's
see
the
how he
approach
does.
that they take. Look, Matt Campbell did a great job at Iowa State because he won more there than most. So that tells you what the potential of the place is and what he was able to accomplish. I'm sure he'll be able to do the same thing at Penn State. But how many times has
Not
Penn State
positive.
won
Could
the
be
national
rough. Could be
championship
fairway,
since
though.
we had playoffs? It says we had BCS games and all that. I mean, refresh my memory on that. So why is that their standard of excellence?
And what are you thinking? Fairway bunker. Let's see what you got.
Not been decided. It's not just how much compensation the coaches get. It's how much money they got to pay the players.
Which is what Lane Kiffin actually said in his presser, which I think this would be a good time to bring this up to you, actually, because your name is also a part of this entire conversation as a mentor to Lane Kiffin, especially alongside Coach Carroll after his dad passed away. OGs in the coaching game have looked out for him, which is a very cool thing. But he said his press
Setting up
conference
now
when
about
he said,
130 yards
I didn't even
out.
know what I was getting paid. I think everybody was going to pay me the same. So I think Lane knew at a gauge that he was going to get paid a lot of money, and everybody was going to pay him the exact same. He said his big question was, how much money do we have for the players? And what he said was LSU clearly had the better setup for what the future. That's reality of current college football.
Absolutely.
Penn State, allegedly, from everything we've been told where we were seeing, they have all of that. And they haven't been able to get a coach signed, and there's been a lot of panic, I think, amongst their people. Having somebody like Matt Campbell, they win I think they win the headline. Don't you think with Matt Campbell, don't you think it's candidate for the donor?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think they're getting a great coach.
This is an 8-iron.
On a consistent
Could
basis.
be slightly too much club.
He's won consistently at a place that's not a place that people would recognize as some place you should win.
I've been working forever.
Volumes of the job he does.
Oh, that's an Iowa fan. That's Ty from Iowa saying Iowa State is horseshit. But
before he got there.
I think that is why people are so impressed by Matt Campbell, because like his culture is one success, and it's out of place. I don't think, especially in a modern world, none of us
This
are saying
one's your
Iowa State
third.
when it comes to NIL conversation. 72 and 55, which is damn near 57%. Previous 10 seasons, 41-82. Jesus. Okay, before he gets there. So yeah, they were kind of shite, and then Matt Campbell gets in there good. And for Penn State, I think we all thought they would kick the one and a half.
Oh my.
Yeah, they ended up signing this, and allegedly the big deluxe is keeping people away.
Setting up his third shot here.
Which I think the big deluxe says, oh, okay, if car breaks down the side of the road, somebody's blaming it. Why am I always the guy that gets blamed for this? What is involved with that decision? As are you.
What?
In this college football competition. Have you seen the coaching tree yet? Have you seen the most updated, most recent one? Somebody put a tweet out that basically has all the coaches in the right now. It's starting at 12, counting down to 1. It's pretty much
25-footer to
that's
go.
FBS head coaching tree as of November 30th. Got Kirby Smart at Georgia here, Sark at Texas, Lane Kiffin at LSU, Sick at Indiana, Lanning, obviously, Cristobal, Frank T.
Oh, this one could drop.
Even though
Great effort from downtown at that.
a beautiful thing. But like, you're obviously a part of a lot of different conversations and a lot of
If
different
he
storylines,
sinks
and
this,
part of a
he'll
lot of
have
different
the
people's
hole.
lives. Lane Kiffin's situation, did you think that was pretty chaotic, even in the scheme of like what chaotic situations can be in college football? I don't think I expected it to get as wild and as ridiculous as it all got at the end. But then after we get through it, I found myself thinking to myself, well, I'm so naive to me, but when I get like that, that kind of a thought whenever you're talking about like, hey, this, people are going to hate you regardless of that.
And that hole's halved.
A part of the combo with Lane or any of these guys that have to make these massive decisions?
Well, I don't think you can go from one SEC school to another without a whole bunch of people getting pissed off. I mean,
Let's see how you do here on the 18th.
I mean, because you got these passionate fan bases on both sides of the fence. So
there we go. Great
and
contact.
anybody that is viewed as somebody who sort of promotes one thing or the other is
And he's ready to go. Let's see how this hole goes for him.
me, asking me for advice based on, I guess, my experience. And as a human being, I don't care if you're a player, a coach, or an administrator, whoever it is, for the love of the game, I'm always going to try to give them the best information that I can. I never tell them what to do. I always just say, what do you want to do? Where can you do it the best? Can you accomplish your goals the best? Where do you have the best opportunity to be successful? What's best for your family? So I don't make anybody's decision.
Okay, about 225 to the pin from here.
That I can relative to them being able to accomplish what they want to accomplish.
Why don't you tell them to go call somebody else and kick rocks? Why don't you stay the hell out of it? Coach Saban, okay? We don't need you telling Lane Kiffin to go down to Louisiana. Watch it hang up on him and not give him any advice at all. There's people that think that.
Fire to the right on the approach, I think.
If I did that, though, I mean,
Anywhere but there.
so
And now he's
helping
looking at
people who
200
were
yards or so
colleagues
to
of
the
mine
pin.
who helped us be successful and created value in what we were able to accomplish. And, you know, you appreciate that. And you're loyal to those people who were loyal to you, who helped you. So I would have a hard time dealing with that personally. And I think there's a lot of people out there that say, well, what kind of person would be that way, that he would.
And from the greenside sand, let's have a nice out here. Nicely played out of that sand. A little bit of work left to do, but nothing too serious. All right, let's see what happens. This is his third shot. This next putt will be for his birdie. And that'll be the end of their round. All right, you need this if you want to win the match. And I got lost in that. Your round's over already. I thought we just started. And great work out there today. The match is over and you have won at 1-up. And with that, I will leave you with this. My heartfelt gratitude for picking the game up in the first place. And thanks again for taking me around the course with you today. We'll see you soon.
And then you're given like what the max could be. If you're a builder and it's awesome. But it is an insane situation.
Which is really what he'd love to do. Something when the expectation is you were supposed to accomplish it and dominate it before you ever did it. So how does it not become relief just to win a game? And the only joy is when you accomplish the goal of winning the championship or whatever, which is
to PGA Tour 2K23. I am looking forward to this. Just 9 holes
opportunity.
Today.
So
back 9.
you get caught in the rock and a hard place as to how do you make a decision. So the blame,
You're breathing different air.
those people who were loyal to you, who helped you. So, and anybody that is viewed as somebody who sort of promoted one thing or the other is probably going to get criticized too. I have a lot of people calling me, asking me for advice based on, I guess, my experience. And as a human being, I don't care if you're a player, a coach, an administrator, whoever it is, for the love of the game, I'm always going to try to give them the best information that I can. I never tell them what to do. I always just say, what do you want to do? Where can you do it the best? Can you accomplish your goals the best? Where do you have the best opportunity to be successful? What's best for your family? So I don't make anybody's decisions for me. I just try to offer the best advice that I can relative to them being able to accomplish what they want to accomplish.
Why don't you tell them to go call somebody else and kick rocks? Why don't you stay the hell out of it? Coach Saban, okay? We don't need you telling Lane Kiffin to go down to Louisiana. We got a team here in fucking Alabama we're trying to win. And now you're sending Lane Kiffin down to LSU. Why don't you hang up on him and not give him any advice at all? There's people that think that.
Well, if I did that, though, I mean, I wouldn't feel good about myself not helping people who were colleagues of mine who helped us be successful and created value in what we were able to accomplish. And, you appreciate that. And you're loyal to those people who were loyal to you, who helped you. So I would have a hard time dealing with that personally. And I think there's a lot of people out there that say, well, what kind of person would be that way that he wouldn't help his colleagues make choices and decisions that are hopefully going to help them accomplish the goals that they have, which is up to them, not up to fans or anybody else. For me.
You said call.
Second shot.
Nobody's really good.
Number 11.
Okay? We've all worked in your world. You're breathing different air, which is why everybody would like to hear what you think in this entirety. And the fact that you give back and listen to everybody is good quality, not a bad one. And I think that situation was insane. The calendar, obviously, to get into it all.
Fuck!
Don't stick it out. What's available down here? We'll talk to Lane Kiffin tomorrow. I cannot wait for that. And I'm excited for everybody's, the internet, especially all the Ole Miss fans. Like, wow, it's just going to be a fourth piece for Lane Kiffin. It's like, okay, I mean, we're certainly going to ask some hard questions. Yeah, well, I've heard how it's starting. I think there's some real journalism in happening tomorrow. But also, I think Lane has some stuff too, which I think, and then obviously he'll be able to talk about the decision and what he's expecting out of LSU. If you get good thing set up over there. He got a good setup there, which he will certainly hit on and talk about as well. I think more explanation would be good, but also a good conversation at the SEC championship.
But this is based on the calendar and the circumstances in football. Coach, and I've been in this situation before, and I absolutely hated it and couldn't sleep at night over it. Where you have an opportunity to go someplace that's maybe better than where you are, maybe not. Maybe you view it as better, maybe not. And you want to be loyal to the team that you have because of what they've done to create the success that has helped you get the opportunity. So you get caught in the rock and a hard place as to how do you make a decision. Because if Lane would have stayed and hired his coach, LSU would have hired somebody else. So he knows he's given up the opportunity if he makes that decision, which is really what he'd love to do because of the loyalty he has to his team. But you can't have both. So, and you're going to get criticized probably either way.
Yeah, not probably, definitely. just because then he was stringing along LSU. Then the LSU people would be mad because he was stringing them along and he didn't pick together. I mean, college football is insane, which is why it's awesome. But it is an insane situation. And the more I learn about it, and the more situations I go through, it's like, there was no winning, I think, for this one, but I still would like to restate. I was publicly and privately telling Lane to stay. Me, personally. Just because I knew that there was potential a lot of heat coming on the other side of it, just by reading the tea leaves of the internet, but also having the opportunity to be, I don't want to say a trailblazer, but like somebody that builds a place and builds a town. You obviously know a lot about this Alabama, not you, but obviously Bear Bryant was there, but from where they were whenever you got there to what it became, it's like, that's a cool legacy as well. But granted, the way he talked about it, LSU was a one-of-one job. Can't wait to catch up with him tomorrow. Let's go ahead.
One thing about this that I think people probably don't see from maybe the perspective, I think sometimes as a coach, you think of, you said it, you build something, you build a program. All right, so you take over a program that's not so good, whether it's Michigan State, LSU, wherever I basically went, Alabama, and you build it. Well, once you build it and you have success, what's the next challenge? So that was the hard thing for me. I wanted Michigan State, I left and went to LSU. I wanted LSU, I went to Miami Dolphins. Then I went back to Alabama. So then when you went to Alabama, when do you get to the place in your life where it's enough? And you can just say, okay, every year is like a new job. I'm going to try to sustain this success here, which is much more difficult than building it to start with.
Yeah, chasing is something. Building the mountain is always much more fun than once you get to the top.
Once you get to the top, because now the expectation goes up, like what we talked about before at Penn State. The expectation goes up, and then all of a sudden you become more anxious about being able to sustain that level of success. So sometimes it's easier to just say, I'll just go build something someplace else.
AJ, what did Matt Brown tell us that we've remembered since then, basically, what it got?